So just how damaging is all of this? Well, let's speak to Graham Davis. Now, he is a political presentation expert and he's advised several leading politicians on how to conduct themselves. I don't know if anybody was in the House of Commons yesterday, Graham, in terms of people you advise. John Bercow saying in his 22 years as an MP hadn't seen anything like this in the House of Commons. What is going on, would you say?
Well, people use this word toxic, which I think isn't a clear enough word in itself. I think it clarifies the situation if we talk about the words that are being used as either helpful or unhelpful to the situation. And they cross that borderline into being unhelpful if the reaction they provoke is one of anger as opposed to one of logic, if they shut down the debate as opposed to stimulating it. And if you choose the wrong words and say them with the wrong tone and the wrong body language, they don't calm the fire of resentment, they actually spray napalm on it.
So give us examples of that from what you saw last night.
Well, of course, the two words that I think who've received the most focus of the use by the Prime Minister of the phrase either humbug or indeed the surrender bill. And I think I can use a footballing analogy here. You should play the ball rather than the man or the woman. When he was talking about the surrender bill, as he calls it, that I think is a classic example of vigorous parliamentary debate. Yes, it does stimulate a certain amount of fury in the opposition benches, but he's attacking the argument. When he just used that phrase, the rather dismissive phrase of humbug, responding to something that Paul the Sheriff said, it both personalised and trivialised what she was saying, and quite naturally her reaction was one of anger rather than logical thought. If I was politely advising Boris, I would suggest to him that he should be very careful about what he says, because that sort of language might work in the Oxford Union, but it doesn't work in the rest of the world. As a Prime Minister, your words are under scrutiny at all times, so he's got to not shoot them off like a scatter shotgun. He's got to select them with a laser beam. Okay,
we've been looking a lot at the Prime Minister's behaviour and his words. What about opposition party members?
Well, so I'm looking at it from Boris Johnson's point of view. When he's hearing the word liar being shouted at him by several members of the opposition benches, again, it's very difficult for him to respond with his brain rather than his heart. I would suggest that you should always try to respond. You should never speak from the heart. Speak from the head, but with your heart giving it a bit of flavour, but never let your emotions take control. It's very difficult to do a presentational handbrake, which is to pause for a few seconds, take a deep breath, and then make sure that you're choosing your words carefully when someone's shouting essentially an insult at you.
This is just so fascinating. I've never known a time like this. Graham Davis, really good for your reaction and your insight into all of this. Thank you.